I joined FreeWheel's about 18 months ago, and before I joined, we were really focused on the UK with a small presence in London, mainly to tackle our few clients there. And since I joined, we've expanded our team quite substantially, specifically by opening a Berlin and a Paris office, in addition to supporting our clients in the Nordics, and in addition to our client roster in Germany, France, Belgium, as well as Sweden. So we've been growing at a pretty rapid pace, effectively tripling our workforce here, as well as getting some traction from new customers. And pretty recently, we've signed a number of clients in Ireland, Sweden, Germany, France, and Belgium. So it's been a pretty exciting year. We'll continue going forward next year with the same kind of rapid pace. So our expansion into Europe is pretty recent, but we're definitely seeing a market opportunity here for companies like FreeWheel. So I think, there's a number of things that are relatively similar to the US, which is really the fragmentation of the screens and of the audience. That's a common trend across all the premium video publishers. And more specifically, with regards to Europe, I think one of the things we're seeing more and more is the interaction between publishers and operators who traditionally didn't have any advertising businesses, short of a few ones such as Sky and others, but mainly the operators were focused on their telco or pay TV businesses, but didn't really have content to put advertising against. And so as the past 18 months have kind of shown, there's a great interest with the amount of data that's being collected with these operators to ensure that from a publisher standpoint, you can target, you can basically get better return for your advertising dollars through the use of the operator data. So you see a whole ecosystem now that's putting itself together between the operators and the publishers, really to benefit the premium video ecosystem, so that publishers effectively are in a position to really use a lot of that data that's coming together for them that they really weren't using before to target, call it set-top box users or authenticated users. So now we're really seeing a big trend in that market, and it's starting to show as part of the data. I think in the US we've seen in the last quarter that about 20% of the volume that we were trafficking on our platform was coming from inventory that was created from operator platform. And so I think we're starting to see the same trend in Europe, so that the unification and unity between operators and programmers is working quite well. And we're only going to see that increase over the next year or so. In addition to sort of the operator and programmer working closely together, I mean, the one thing that we're seeing now that's specific to Europe is really making sure that the environment in which the users are watching the content is, immune to fraud, pretty well contained within an ad blocker environment. That's a pretty big issue in Europe. Most importantly, the digital entrants or the traditional sort of digital players are making quite a big impact in the market, and some of the bigger sales houses are starting to see an impact. And so one of the things that they're now realizing is they have to be taken into account all screens and all forms of viewer watching, and that includes more and more the big screen in the living room, other than the traditional digital format that they were putting together, such as mobile or desktop, laptop, or tablets. And so we are now engaged with a lot more of these operators to ensure that the ecosystem doesn't survive but thrives, really. And so making sure that the operator open up a little bit of the technical infrastructure so that programmers can serve ads better in their environment through set-top box, use of data, as I said before, but also most importantly making sure that the business rules and the compliance are maintained throughout throughout the value chain. Now, all that really to benefit and to make sure that from a premium video publisher standpoint, they remain in control of the viewer experience, and they remain in control of the living room, if you will. So that's really where we're going to work on, and what we're going to see in the next few years.